Hello, my name is Shotgun Fetish, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about the Awesome Knots team selection tool that I've created to help casters out in keeping track of what the team makeups are, what bans have been done, what Awesome Knots are available in each match, and also to provide a little bit of visual entertainment for the viewers while they're watching the team selection process. In the past, it hasn't been the most exciting thing because it's so complicated to do, and the caster often has a lot of things going on at once. This is an attempt to simplify the caster's life and to make the stream a little bit more engaging for the viewers. So, when you first launch the program, the first thing that you're going to see is the toolbox, the caster's toolbox, and this allows you to set the game up before you actually start the stream. Excuse me, before you start broadcasting the stream view. And that lets you get the correct Awesome Knot teams on there and set up any other information, change your background, etc. So the very first thing that you're going to see is this initial state of the program here. The first thing that you want to do is start the stream view. And this allows you to see, before you're actually broadcasting the stream view, it allows you to see how it's set up to make sure that you have the correct teams assigned to the correct color, and that their logos are there and look correct and everything. You'll want to do this before you actually start broadcasting to give it a little bit more professional look. If you want to move the window around, you'll put your mouse cursor on the Winternauts logo, and you can drag this window wherever you want to go. And that lets you move the stream if you're so inclined. Another option that you have available is to change the background image. I've got the red versus blue, or the zeros versus ones, if you will, armies as the default background, but you can actually use any image file that you have on your computer as a background image. To do that, you click on the Change Background button. That'll bring up the Windows file browser, and then you can just go find any other alternative picture that you want to use, bearing in mind that not all pictures are created equal. This is just a generic Starfield background here. This one works pretty well. And I'll let you, and of course you can play around with that on your own. If you want to change the image, if you don't want to change the image, you don't have to, but you do have that option. That's available if you want to do it. The other option is, depending on what quality you stream at, you have the option of upscaling the resolution of the Awesome Knots Team Picker. You can put it all the way up to 1920 by 1080. To do that, you just click on the 1920 by 1080 button, and that will expand everything and move all the objects around. Everything in here is designed with the higher resolution version in mind, and they tend to look better when they're broadcast this way. But of course, by the time stream compression and everything goes, you probably can't tell the difference. I like to use it in the full resolution, but you still have the option, even though it looks like it's full screen, it's not. You can still move it around with the Awesome Knots Winternauts logo handle right there. So once you've selected a background image and you have decided on the resolution that you want to use, then this should all still be done before you're actually broadcasting. It's something you want to set up ahead of time, especially since you know what the schedule is going to be. The next thing you'll want to do is select which teams are playing. You just use the drop down here and find which teams. We're going to select Boss for Team Red and Discovery Channel for Team Blue. And you can see that their names and logos appear at the top. Not all the teams submitted logos to us. So if a team doesn't have a logo, they get the default APL logo up there, and that's just the filler that I gave them for want of like space up there. So you select which teams you want to play. Once you're at this point, you've got the teams up there. You've chosen your resolution. You've got the window positioned somewhere that it's convenient for you. Now it's time to go ahead and start broadcasting this, and you'll set that up in your own broadcasting software, however you do that, if it's OBS or something else. I would suggest setting it up as a program capture or a monitor capture, depending on how you roll. I'm not judging. So you'll get that set up, get the teams on there and everything, and now you're ready to start taking. Excuse me. The first thing that you're going to do is choose a map. The teams will submit their map selection to you, and I don't know if the first one is random or what. I should have made a way to make that, but I didn't. So if it's random, just roll dice or whatever, and whatever map it ends up being, you just take the current map drop down and select a map on there. In this case, I'm picking AI Station. That should pop up right underneath the Winternauts logo for you there. And now you're ready to get bans from the teams. The teams will submit their bans either via voice chat in Mumble or through Steam chat. I don't know how they do it exactly. However, they're doing it. As soon as you know what a ban is for a team, then you just right click on the awesome naut that's been banned. So if blue team bans Raylan,
nothing wrong with dying young.
Right click on Raylan, she dies and she's banned. And then the next team will submit their ban. Durple, you right click on Durple.
Going offline.
Durple dies and he's banned. At that point, the teams will be ready to give you their submissions, and hopefully they'll do it quickly, and you should be able to get your picks one after another. And you just left click on the awesome naut that's been picked for the appropriate team. So if Team Boss chooses Gnaw, you click on Gnaw.
Gnaw ready for battle.
And you can see that Gnaw is selected in the interface. And then that process will repeat schoolyard style until all the awesome nauts have been selected for the match. So I'll go ahead and do that just really quickly here so that we can get ready and set up to begin a new match. And that'll look something like this.
Are you squid?
Best teams ever. Okay, so once the teams have been selected and you're done with whatever spiel you're going to say or anything, you're ready to start the match. To start the match and start the transition animation right before you switch your stream view to the actual Awesome Naut streams, you'll just click on the toolbox on the Begin Match button, and that will activate the animation that goes on and play some sound and everything. You probably don't want to talk through it because the sound is a little bit loud. You'll need to mix that ahead of time so that you know how loud it is on your stream and you're not blowing out people's ears. As I understand happened last time we used this thing, but I have no real control over how loud the sounds go. They have to get mixed externally. Anyway, you'll press the Begin Match button. That'll go through the animation. It looks like this. And then once that has started, you're going to switch off of this view because we're done with it, and the match should actually load, and then you'll cast the game just like you normally would. And when the game ends, this screen will still be sitting here waiting for you. And what you'll do is assign whoever won their win. If it was Boss in this situation, you would just increase the wins for Boss by 1 on the control panel. Okay, like that. And you'll see that immediately gets reflected on the caster view. And then you'll hit the New Match button. Now, when you hit New Match, you don't want to be streaming this view at that time. You want to have this set up ahead of time, or it's going to look goofy because you don't want to have the previous match Awesome Naut teams up there or anything. So you'll want to get this set up before you go back into broadcasting this part of the application. So once you're ready, you hit New Match, and that resets everything back to the initial screen. The difference being that you can now see which knots are no longer available under the Winter Knots rule set. You can see that because the blue team picked Gnaw, Swiggins, Voltar last time, those are grayed out, and you can no longer select them. You can click on them all day, nothing will happen. And this is what helps you keep track of what's there in case they want to play Swiggins again. You can tell them, no, not Swiggins, he's not available. You don't have to have that written down on a notepad or anything. It's all right there for you. The bandwagon has been updated, and you can see that the red team banned Durple last time, which means they can't ban him again, and the blue team banned Raylan last time, and they can't ban her again. And that accumulates as you go. Every time a new ban is made, it gets added to the bandwagon so that you can keep track of who is and is not allowed to be banned and which teams have banned which knots. The team that banned the knot gets that knot on their side. It doesn't mean this display you're looking at now doesn't mean that Durple was banned for Boss. It means that Boss banned Durple for Discovery Channel. So that's how you can keep that straight. You'll go through the exact same process again of banning and selecting the knots. and then starting the new match until the series is over. And I believe they're best of 5 series. So when one team has accumulated 3 wins, like I've just assigned to Team Boss here, you're going to hit the new series button, and that resets the whole thing for new knots, for new teams to select their knots and start all over. And I'll show you how that looks. You hit the new series button, and it resets the whole thing. It's important to note that it goes back to the 720p resolution, and that's on purpose because they're basically reloading the entire program. At this point, we've reset back to the default APL R&D and default APL brass logos. Those are just placeholders. And then you're just going to go back to your game setup, and the entire process begins again. And that's pretty much it. There's really there is one more feature that's important, and that is the swap teams feature. I may have forgotten to talk about that. Let me just show you how that works really quickly. I'm going to assign just a couple of random teams, North, Techno Prisoners. Those sound like teams. Supposing that we've already gone through some matches here, I'm just going to select knots really quickly here.
Amplifying.
Cowabunga! Good cowabunga!
Amplifying.
Okay, so they've just played a match. You've hit new match. You're back to the beginning here. But your teams, this was actually a really bad example because you won't be able to see what happens when I hit swap teams. Let me go with another team pick so that you can see it. You should be able to go through the same process again, bans and picks, just like this.
Yeehaw! Morning, gentlemen. Nice.
Sugar, spice, and everything dies.
Okay, and we'll assume that Techno Prisoners won that game again. You hit new match. Now that these look different and you can tell what's going on, if the teams decide to change who is hosting, so North becomes blue team and Techno Prisoners becomes red team, then you don't have to redo everything manually. All you have to do is hit the swap teams button, and that will switch the teams around. The bandwagon got switched. The previous knot selections got switched. Everything has just been reversed, and you notice the wins got switched as well. That way you don't have to worry about who had picked what in the past and what team they're on. All you need to know is every time a match ends, if they're going to switch host, you just push swap teams, and it will switch the entire interface back and forth, red to blue, so that you don't have to worry about that. And that's the last real feature that there is. Everything else has been covered, and including that now. And then, and that's it. That's all you should need to know. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of me through Steam. It's Shotgun Fetish, or you can contact me by email, which you'll have because I'm going to email you a link to this video. And of course, I'll be standing by for any technical support that you need as we go through Winter Knots. Good luck. Have fun.